Good morning, friends, and welcome to our morning devotional this morning on this Wednesday, October 20th. It's great to see you. I'm in our Anona chapel here for our devotional today. I'm going to be talking about today, we're in our series right now, talking about spiritual gifts. And today I want to talk about pride and humility. Pride and humility. And our scripture this morning comes from Philippians chapter 2, verse 5. And it says this: "Let the same mind be in you that was in Jesus Christ." And thinking about pride and humility, I want to share with you a story as my email. Sorry, that was my email coming in. Work tends to keep me busy, let me tell you. I want to tell you a story about pride and humility. Back early on when I came on board Anona as their music director, I was really gung-ho with making sure our choirs and our music groups were the very best. I wanted to make sure that Anona's name was known as the best choirs around. And so they had this competition that came up in our community called Choirs of Fire event. And it was put on by this Christian radio station, and they invited like half a dozen churches, big churches, to bring your best music groups with you. And it's going to be a competition to see who is crowned the Choir of Fire. And, I took this so seriously. I said, I'm not just going to bring one choir. I'm going to bring all my adult choirs. So I combined all the adult choirs together. And I not only brought all the adult choirs, I brought the band, I brought the orchestra. I brought everyone and their brother to this thing and sister. It was really wild. We had picked a couple big pieces and we even had them moving around a bit, and singing and just something on a scale that we had just not done. And so I was excited, and we got there and we got the whole team out and we sang and the band played and the orchestra played. And it went well. It was a great celebration moment. And then some of the other churches' bands came out. These are some Grammy-winning bands, that are like, have albums and tour regularly and do all that. And they come out and they kind of blew us out of the water. Yeah, it was a time I was served a real good slice of humble pie. And here, as I was reflecting on that afterwards and realizing, for me, I was really more focused on me in those moments. I was focused on my reputation and keeping my mind on, I wanted it to be the best because that's what I wanted to be able to say that, rather than focusing on the interests and the needs of the awesome people whom I was serving. And so it was a real good moment for me. It still was a great fun event, but it was a good slice of humble pie for me. And here's the thing. We are all called to imitate Christ's humility with the people that we serve. And it can be a struggle for us to move from that place of pride to that place of humility. And that's what we talk about in the mind of Christ. The mind of Christ is not about our own interests and ambitions, not about putting ourselves first among others. The mind of Christ is about sharing God's love and compassion to others. It's about humbly serving others over our own needs there. Christ was the ultimate example of humility for you and for me, taking the form of a servant there and being obedient even to death on the cross, and how Christ followed his teachings and working with God in those moments, and with you and with me, being that example of humility. And it's just a powerful example for us there. It reminds me in modern day, not Jesus, obviously, but another example of humility, of reminding me of Walt Disney. Studied Walt when I was in Orlando. Did a lot of performing work there, and I remember reading a story about Walt after he had opened Disneyland in California. Walt had gotten to be known by spending time with all of his team. He would find himself hanging out with the street cleaners in the park there down Main Street, or hanging out with the security guards as they were locking up late at night. He would be there to talk with them, and how's your family, and do you need a helping hand, is there anything I can do? Showing a real genuine love and support and humility to all the people that were employed by him there. And so that's my prayer for you and me, that when we encounter others in our daily lives, whether it's people we encounter at our work, wherever we might work, if we're still working, or just in our daily activities, if we're retired, if it's things like going to the grocery store and seeing the clerk who's running the checkout counter there, or getting gas for our cars, or just grabbing that quick cup of coffee there and the barista that's behind the register there, or maybe even our own family when we interact with the people that we've been raised with and hang out with in our daily life there. Finding those opportunities to show that servant heart. The simple things in life, opening a door for another person, letting someone else go first in the checkout line when they open that new checkout line next to you at Publix, that's a biggie, as everyone runs there. Or just simply reaching out to someone who maybe isn't even being noticed by others around you and showing them love and support, showing them that you care in those moments there. Take that opportunity to share the mind of Christ through our own humble service to others throughout our day and sharing God's message of love for the world. So until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of God's hand.